How you doing today, folks? Now, a long time ago when I first started the channel, to be clear, not that long ago, about a year and a half now, I had talked about this being my journey to the perfect knife. And over time, I kind of realized that perfect knife does not exist. And honestly, I kind of disagree with that now. I've recently found 5 folders that are my be-all, end-all, just kind of perfect knives that I don't want to carry anything else. So it makes reviewing other knives and talking about other knives really difficult, therefore my videos don't come out very much anymore. Now, as far as fixed blades, the closest I've ever had to a perfect knife prior to this one is the Bradford Guardian 4. I absolutely loved that knife, but there's always something about it that just wasn't quite right. And then I drunk bought this knife in a video you guys haven't even seen yet because those require tons of editing and I haven't bothered to do that yet. And this is a video I really want to put out there just ASAP because while these are hard to find, man, I found my perfect fixed blade. That's right, folks. The thumbnail is not clickbait. This knife, spoiler alert, in my humble opinion, is literally perfect. So, first things first, let's talk about the sheath itself and the dangler. And I like a dangler. That was not supposed to come off weird. It just came off really, really weird. So, sorry, not sorry. So we have this red leather dangler with a clip right here. And this big, gigantic, I guess you would call it a D-ring. But very, very thick, not going to go anywhere. Nice, solid steel. And then you have that mixed with a Kydex sheath, which when I first heard about that, I was like, I'm not sure if I like that idea, mixing that kind of like traditional leather with a more higher end, like fancy Kydex. To be clear, Kydex isn't fancy at all, but in my mind, I was like, ooh, it sounds fancy. But it really does work. It works fantastically. One problem with a dangler is if the sheath does not fully cover at least half the handle of the knife, at least in my experience, similar to this, that knife will not retain in said sheath. And I actually have a story to where I impaled said knife in my foot. Thank God I was wearing steel toe boots, so it wasn't that big of a deal, but oh my God, it scared me and scarred me from forever wanting a dangler without that fully encompassing sheath and or apparently Kydex. So because of that Kydex, you can really grip a full hand on the knife and then retract cleanly and have this amazing grip right off the get-go. So for me, you kind of get the best of both worlds. The retention is fantastic. This is not going to go about stabbing my boot or my foot. And you have that nice, very easy, out of the way dangler. Because to be very clear, folks, I am fat. I'm not morbidly obese, but I got enough chub that if I wear a fixed blade, that shit stabs me in the side, and that is not fun. Now, for every Mike Bacola, you skinny bastard, there's a Kyle Terry or a Kevin Johnson, Lefty EDC, DTM Knives and Gear, that we just have the chub. And I ain't got much of it, man, but I have just enough to where I'll literally have a bruise on my side if that knife rides too high. So having a dangler for me is literally like the best of both worlds. However, because this is Kydex, if you don't like the dangler, you can unscrew it right here. This whole system pops off clean, and you can put an ulti clip or a belt loop or whatever you want to right here and carry it the way you want to. I've carried this knife in my pocket, I've carried it on a dangler, I've carried it on my waistband, and no matter how you carry it, it feels good, not counting the chub rub. So while yes, this knife is great, yes, in my opinion, it's perfect, the sheath system as well is absolutely perfect. Now, as far as the knife itself, as you can see, we have some pretty damn thick, fully contoured carbon fiber handle scales. Now, because of that thickness, if you have smaller hands, this knife is probably not going to fit you very well. But for me, my big old meat hooks, me and my fat hands, this thing, it's like a literal glove, man. Like, I feel like my hand is born to hold this knife, and that sounds like some crazy serial killer shit, but for me, it's just true. Though FYI, this does not feel good, so I mean, technically not a reek reek. It could be a reek reek though, I guess. But no, this knife, like as soon as I held it, man, like literally as soon as I did, my brain just broke. Because I've been trying to find something like this for so long and not actually know what the hell I'm looking for. And once you really not only see it and experience it, For me, it shut everything else down. There's no hot spots on this knife. There's no warm spots. There's no fucking cold spots. There's just that perfect Goldilocks fucking temperature, man. I am in the middle bed giving those bears the finger when I hold this knife, and it really just makes me genuinely happy. Now, as you guys know, I live in California, and in California, if you carry a fixed blade, people think you're a serial killer. And I rock this Dangler, and I'm going around, people are giving me crazy ass looks crossing the streets, and I'm just happy as can be. I don't even care. Like, normally speaking, I don't care that much anyways, but there's a little piece of me, it's like, you know what, I wish you wouldn't judge me. Now, fucking judge me. I don't care. I found my happily ever after, my happy place, my Goldilocks. Fuck you, boo-boo. That's a Three Bear joke, by the way, in case you don't get that. And it's just a knife that I love. The ergonomics are incredible. They feel like they're a piece of my hand. If you hate this knife, you hate me, because this knife and this hand are fucking one. We're Voltron, bitch. Now, on top of that, this is a Tops knife, and as such, it is American made. Now, to be very clear, I don't mind Chinese knives, Russian knives, but I can't help but want to root for the home team, like I'm sure everybody else does. If you live in China, you want China to succeed. If you live in Russia, you want Russia to succeed. I live in the US of A, and the fact that this knife succeeds makes me even happier. As far as the actual steel, we have CPM 154, which gives fantastic edge retention, relatively easy sharpenability, most importantly, some very intense toughness, which is fantastic for a fixed blade, and also takes a very, very keen edge, just a little bit of stropping. And that's really important because this knife is actually meant for hunting. The Tex-Creek design is meant for hunting. To be clear, I have hunted with this knife. It does cut through skin very, very easily. Again, sounds like a serial killer. And if you're a hunter trying to find your perfect knife, this might be it. But if you're just like me, just a city kid or somebody who likes to go out into the wilderness every now and again, just experience nature, you will love this. The grind, while not being a true Scandi, so you can't really go through wood and everything else like you might want to, feather sticking, this knife is not the best for. For so many other applications of use, it's just perfect. It's that middle ground. But for me, it's that middle ground that makes, again, that Goldilocks moment, the fuck you Three Bears, fuck you boo-boo, fuck you weird Charmin looking bear, fuck all bears, why the hell at it? That just makes you want to lay there and sip your goddamn Tops Tex-Creek porridge. Now, something for me that only ever affects me on a fixed blade is the lanyard placement. On a folder, I don't know, man. For me, it just doesn't bother me that much on a folder, but on a fixed blade, where the lanyard goes can just make a crazy hotspot for me. And the way this handle is designed, this lanyard, while almost seeming obtrusive, is the exact opposite. Now, as you can tell, I don't run a lanyard. I'm not really a huge fan of lanyards for the most part, but if you're really kind of bearing down on something, you want that extra retention, I've definitely put a lanyard in this knife, and it again just becomes a bigger part of your hand. So while not ideal for me personally, if you do happen to run a lanyard, you will love the way this knife carries. The back piece has this slight raised point right here, which means your fingers are out of the way of that actual lanyard hole. You can get that still, full, fine, ergonomic porridge grip. That is a weird reference, I'm not gonna lie. The porridge grip, that just sounds gnarly, ugh. And you really just have everything that you want, or at least I want, in a knife. So it's actually pretty ironic, right? Because I bought 5 fixed blades, so I was like, you know what, man, I can't seem to carry folders anymore. I just found my perfect knives. I don't want to carry anything else. And then I got this, and I found my perfect knife, and I don't want to carry anything else. God damn it, Mike Bacola. When I ignore your phone call, this is why. Stop randomly calling me. Oh my God. I love you, brother, but the fucking constant calls are killing me. Now, there are a few caveats for this overall glowing review. One, the version I have is a limited edition, like 20th anniversary. I don't know how limited, I have no idea. I didn't know this knife existed. I drunk bought it, got it in hand, and fell in love. And that's where my knowledge ends. Maybe they made 50,000 of them, you can find them anytime you want to. Maybe they made 20 and they sold out instantly. I just don't know. Now, technically, the regular Tex-Creek might have all the same features to it. It looks pretty damn similar. It does not have the carbon fiber. It does not have the red leather. It has more of kind of the aesthetics are more of like a homegrown hunter look. But the ergonomics should still be there, theoretically. So it being so very limited is both a good thing if you want a rare, coveted knife and you just want to be able to show it off like I do because I'm a vain fucker. But it's also a downside if you want a knife that you can just absolutely beat the hell out of, because chances are you might never be able to get it again, and that is a scary, scary thing. But if you can get over that fear, you will have a fixed blade that cuts cleanly through paper, through hide, through boxes, through pretty much everything. As you can see, you have thicker blade stock, and while the edge isn't a true laser beam, it's not going to cut through like, a fucking laser, it cuts through really, really good, very reliably, and most importantly, you can really, and I mean really easily control the angle that this knife cuts at, which if you're a hunter, as you guys know, is very, very important. Nobody wants to nick that goddamn gut sack. It ruins the meat and it smells atrocious, and I might have done that 3 or 4 times in my life. So, in closing, I found my absolute, my true grail. I literally have nothing bad to say about this knife besides the availability, and that might also be a pro based on who you are. So if you can find this knife, if you can get it in hand, I recommend it so much. Everything that I have, more so than any other knife I've ever recommended to anybody, this thing to me it's just perfect, man. It makes me happy to hold, to carry, to think about. I randomly will be on the couch and just pull this out and just look at it, which again makes you look like a fucking serial killer, but this knife I embrace my inner Patrick Bateman, my inner Jason Voorhees, my inner Michael Myers, my inner anything, man. Any crazy knife wielding, I guess I embrace it, though I don't actually kill anybody. I just do this, which my lady says is fucking creepy. Also, I don't know why you would modify this knife, because for me it's just perfect. But if you hate these beautiful red and black carbon fiber, perfectly contoured scales, they come off very, very easy. Nothing proprietary, no Loctite, nothing like that. I just stabbed myself in the thumb. This knife is very sharp. That's gonna suck in like 30 seconds. You can modify it any way you so see fit. Personally, I want it, again, I love this knife the way it is. I wouldn't change a damn thing. Buy this knife. My review score, 10 out of 10. Generalized EDC score, 10 out of 10. Hunting score, for me, 10 out of 10. This is the grail I did not know I wanted. It will never be sold. If you see this knife for sale, somebody killed my ass and stole it, because you will take this knife over my dead ginger body. It is perfect, and I will never let it go. But anyways, folks, that got a little intense. As always, I love you all. Please take care. Have a great day, and bye-bye.